Whatever our singing ability, we probably all feel good when we belt out our favourite tune, don't we? And to prove it, I've been catching up with award-winning musical director England BEM about how music and singing makes us happy. Until recently, Ben led the North Somerset Philharmonic. He's now musical director of the Cabot Choir in Bristol and a number of online choirs, including Home Choir and the globally acclaimed Choir of the Earth. So he was the perfect person to share more about why music and singing makes us feel as good as it does.
I think singing and music in general, it's such a personal art. It's such a personal choice. I mean, everyone has favorite songs, favorite pieces that they use to relax, pieces they use to inspire themselves. People will work out with their favorite music. They'll go to work listening to music. It's part of our lives. It's part of our identities, whether you're listening to it, whether you are engaged in it, whether you're actually participating on any level, whether you're recommending it. One of the great joys in life is sharing a piece that you love with someone who you know will love it just as much. And I think when you sing, and particularly my line of work as a choral director, you pick up on the energy and you pick up on the enthusiasm of not just the composer who wrote the music, but the person who's conducting you and the person who's playing the instrument accompanying you, and then everyone else around you.
And I mean, those specific benefits of singing together as a group, what would you say those are?
Well, again, it's a great mood lifter. I'm involved with a fantastic project here in Bristol with the University of the West of England and St George's Bristol, who are the big concert hall here in town. And they've been putting together a project called Sing for Happiness. And it's into its third year now. And it pulls together people who have never sung before or haven't sung since school. And we get sort of 450 people singing all these different voice parts. And they come together once a month for 6 months. And they're taught these wonderful pieces by exciting and vibrant choir directors from all across the Southwest. And then they perform together at a big venue. And what we find in this project, and indeed in general with singing, is that people's moods definitely, and this has been backed up with academic research, people's moods are lifted by the fact that you're singing with other people. And so you find that the physical aspect of it, it releases all sorts of positive hormones and endorphins into your body. The emotional side of things, you put aside how you're feeling at that particular moment, and you engage fully with the music, and so you're drawn into the piece, and usually it's uplifting and happy. And that social engagement, you're standing shoulder to shoulder, and there'll be all ages, all backgrounds, but we're all united in this purpose. And you can't help but feel better. You can't help but have an emotional connection with something like that.
No, absolutely. And Sing for Happiness sounds like a really interesting project. I mean, what have people said to you that have been involved in it?
So I deliver the online component as people go to the rehearsals and have a fabulous time, and then they rehearse with me afterwards. And I get both sides of the feedback then. I get people there on the day who come up and say how much they've enjoyed it. Sometimes people are quite emotional, actually. There's a lot of people in the world who were treated very badly as a child when they tried to sing. Maybe they hadn't sung before. It was their first time they'd ever opened their mouth to sing. And the teacher immediately says to them, "Oh, no, you don't sing. You've got a terrible voice."
Gosh.
Impact of that on people. I'm sure there's people listening right now who have had that experience. And I want to say to all of you, ignore that. Put that aside. That person was totally wrong. Some people, their singing voice develops when they're very young and they're able to hear and match their voice pretty much instantly. For others, it takes time. I've worked with singers who haven't found their voice until they're in their teens or in their 20s, but everyone can sing. And so when you put those people together and you unlock singing for them, whether it's a simple tune, whether it's singing in harmony for the first time, but when you have that many people all working together, you see the lights coming on in people's faces as they go, "Oh, this is why people love this." I get people online saying the same thing. To see them really engaging as a teacher, there's nothing better.
No, I can completely imagine that. And you lead a number of online choirs, don't you, including the acclaimed Choir of the Earth. What impact would you say these choirs have on well-being and happiness?
Well, Choir of the Earth, of course, was founded with both of those goals in mind, as a way of bringing people together when we couldn't during the pandemic. And what we found is that there was a new way of singing, a new way of connecting, bringing people together from across the world, united through our rehearsals, which are on YouTube. I, as the choral director, don't see or hear them, but what I do see is the live chats, and I see people chatting away and making connections. If you've got people who are living alone, people who are isolated, either physically because they can't get to a rehearsal, or geographically. We've got one chorister who lives on a tiny island just off Thailand, and it's just her husband and a whole load of tiny lizards. Can't get to a choir rehearsal, but so she sings with Choir of the Earth.
Wow.
And you have this wonderful feeling of community. And with Choir of the Earth, again, it's something slightly different. Because I teach every single note, line by line, you have the opportunity to stop the rehearsal, pause it, take it back, work on it until you're really, really confident. Then you record just using your device, your phone, your tablet, and you send it in. It's all mixed together. And what we've found, it's been rather startling actually, is that people's knowledge and people's understanding of the music is actually significantly higher because they're learning to record. Because if you sing at a concert, you can just say, well, if I get something wrong, Brenda on my right, she always gets it right. She'll cover for me. But when you know your voice is being recorded, you put that extra effort in and you take that responsibility. I get messages from choristers saying, I'd never sung this kind of music before. I joined Choir of the Earth and I've enjoyed it so much. I tried out for my local choir, my local symphony chorus. There's a chap called David who has joined one of the major symphony choruses in America. We've had a lady in London who joins the Royal Philharmonic Chorus. And in each case, their singing had come on so much because of Choir of the Earth. They felt so confident. They went along. And there they are now singing at a much higher level than they ever thought they'd be able to. So you've got the emotional boost to it. You've got the health boosts. It makes you feel so much better. And you've actually got the musical chops here. When you learn online, you actually improve. One little lad at the very start of Choir of the Earth during the pandemic, because kids couldn't sing in person, I started a little online choir which ran for 6 months, and we had little kids come along in the morning and I'd do nursery rhymes, and one lad started singing with me online, and he is now a chorister at Exeter Cathedral.
Wow.
Tributes his start. He's going on to do music at university.
Oh, do you know, that is such a lovely story, isn't it? And what would you say to anyone that's listening to this and might be thinking about starting to sing again, whether that's, at home, in the kitchen or in a choir or anywhere?
I think there's never been a better time to start singing. I mean, it's like that Chinese proverb. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. And so if you've always thought, well, I'd quite like to sing, but I'm not sure I can, give it a go. You can sing online, and that has the advantage of being completely safe. No one can see or hear you. But there's also community choirs, I'm sure, wherever you're listening, particularly in Somerset. There's loads of choirs.
Lovely stuff, Ben. Well, before you go, I've got to ask you, is there a particular song or piece of music that always makes you happy?
Well, there's a lot of pieces I love, but I think it's got to be Bring Me Sunshine. That's a song that just always makes me want to skip off into the sunset. And I think if the listeners listening haven't heard it in a while, stick it on, think about Eric and Ernie, and it'll definitely brighten up your day.